in the event itself, and someone had said, if you've earned 6 figures or more, stand up. And it was just wild to me, the number of people that stood up. Because here I was thinking, like 5 will. Like, there can't be that many people making that much money in this industry because I'm struggling so bad, And I don't know how that one thing shifted something in my head, but it just occurred to me I had to get really serious about the skills. It's possible. And I got serious about the skills, and I just did the income producing skills that would translate to dollars. And so the next month I made $4,000 and it felt like $4 million.
Well, what did you do different?
I just went home and I started doing things that actually produced income instead of the things that kept me busy. Because I feel like that's what a lot of people get trapped in. They're like, oh, I worked hard, but none of the things produce income.
Welcome to the Excellence Project. My name is Eric Worre, and today I have my dear friend, Tina Joy Carroll, who is a superstar in network marketing and has a very, very fascinating story about overcoming obstacles, childhood traumas, difficulties, challenges in order to be able to become the fastest growing organization within her company, doing very, very well, helping a lot of other people. I think you're going to get a lot of lessons from this podcast, from this conversation. So with no further ado, let's jump right into my conversation with Tina Joy Carroll. Tina Joy Carroll.
Hi.
Where does joy come from?
So my mother's name is Joyce. So I'm assuming Joy was part of her name.
But it fits.
Yes.
So you decided to incorporate it into how you are introduced.
Right. Because it sounds like a Christmas carol.
I'm Eric John Worre, but I don't go by Eric John Worre.
Yeah.
John's my dad's name.
John's my dad's name.
See, we have these things in common.
We do.
So we've been friends for how long?
We officially met in person here at the house in 2019. I bought the super VIP ticket, and I was sitting
for a GoPro event.
And I was sitting in VIP with my mouse ears, and you walked up to me and you said, "That's genius."
Yeah, that's smart. It was smart. You and Lindsay.
Yep. Me and Lindsay came.
Yeah. I haven't seen Lindsay in forever.
She is killing it in real estate.
Is she doing well?
Oh, yeah. She's killing it in South Florida.
Will you tell her hi for me?
I will.
All right, do it. Yeah, I saw she was wearing Mickey Mouse ears. Mm-hmm. And every day there was different ones. Mm-hmm. And I'm always interested in people who are intentionally branding. And I didn't quite understand where that was going, but it didn't matter because you stood out every day. And there are different ones. There's sparkly ones. There's party ones. There was just everyday ones.
There's all kinds.
There was just how many do you have?
Oh, over 200.
Over 200. Do you have a collection? Do you have a wall?
Well, I have a closet for them now. We built
They have their own closet.
They do. I get them all custom made, so they're not. I don't buy the ones from
Can I get a picture?
Yeah, absolutely.
We need a picture.
Absolutely.
of the Mickey Mouse ear closet. Yep. How big is this closet?
It would be like a normal home's walk-in closet. So one side of it is all ears, and the other side of it is all my Disney bags.
So it's like 10 by 10, 20 by 12.
Probably like a 10 by maybe 7.
10 by 7.
Probably like that size.
So like a real closet.
Oh, yeah, it's a real closet. It's a full-on walk-in closet.
So we're going to talk about your network marketing experience. We're going to talk about your life. We're going to talk about where you came from. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things.
Okay.
But first things first, we have to talk about Disney.
Of course we do.
Because what the heck? You are, now, don't take this disparagingly.
Oh, no.
There's 2 types of Disney adults. One type of Disney adult is kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They're full on role playing with the characters. They're
it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You're not one of those.
No.
You don't role play with the characters.
No,
you just enjoy it.
I always have. I don't know literally where it came from because it's not like.
When was the first time you went?
Oh, I was probably maybe 9 or 10. I only went once as a child. So it wasn't.
But was it magical?
I have I have two memories from it. I remember the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and I remember the Skyline ride, that neither of which are there anymore.
Right.
I don't have any photos from that trip. I wish I did so badly, but there's just none. Not one. Not a single photo. And then I didn't go again until I was an adult.
How is it possible you go to Disney as a 9-year-old and not a single photo?
I don't know, because my dad's passed away now.
Somebody went to the photo mat and left the
right. And who knew it would become this creation?
Photos, or even the click, the cardboard box photo, cameras would have been enough to at least have something.
If I just had one picture of me in front of a castle, it would be really cool.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. So this happens early on, plants the seed somehow. How does it get reintroduced?
And then in 97, I went back again, and as an adult, and I loved it. I just fell in love with there was
World,
Land,
Epcot.
Yeah.
So you have to rank all the Disney properties, top to bottom.
Yeah. So Disney World and Disneyland, I don't have a favorite because they're so different. Yeah. Disneyland is very classic
and quaint.
Yes. And a lot different.
Tighter.
Yes. You can do a lot and just walk.
Yeah.
Disney World, you can't. You obviously know that.
Right.
And so they're just different. I enjoy both. I have been to Disneyland Paris. That was wildly different because the cultures there are so different.
And it's just like, eh.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, yeah.
I mean, it's Disney. It's a place to go.
Mm-hmm.
I did an event there, and it was meh.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, well,
same.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's just very different. The culture's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
My earliest memories was Disneyland and Universal Studios when you could go on the tour.
Oh yeah.
Back when there was $1 Million Man and the Bionic Woman and Jaws was brand new.
Yeah.
And
they did a boat and it come out.
Yeah, and the shark would come out. Now the shark's pretty sad looking.
It is.
Pretty sad.
Yeah.
But the tram and all that stuff was futuristic. So anyway, so 97, you go back by yourself, as with a group, with a friend, on a date.
It was with my ex-husband.
Okay.
It was our honeymoon. And then I just, of course.
You decided to go to Disney on your honeymoon.
Yes. Yep.
Why? Of all the places you could go.
It had to have been the seed that was planted. I don't know. Because it's not even like I knew
it was
people
your
that loved
decision.
Disney. It was 100% my decision.
And you were living where at the time?
In Tennessee. I've always born and raised there.
Where?
Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're living in Nashville and you're saying, honey, we're going to Disney World.
Yeah.
For our honeymoon.
Yeah.
Did you wear your tiara? Did you
I didn't have
wear
ears
your veil?
Then.
Did you like have like just married?
I'm sure some of that was going on.
Cans through the parade?
No, but fun fact. So then my now husband, Donnie, that you've met, he asked me to marry him at Disney World.
No way.
Yes, right. And we were the first engagement for the Festival of Fantasy Parade at Magic Kingdom in 2014.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
yeah.
So you go there then.
Mm-hmm.
You've been you go there with your ex for your honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work out. You're dating a guy and he decides to propose to you there because obviously he knows this is important to you and it's going to lock in even more memories.
We're sealing the deal.
Sealing the deal. You can't say no at Disney.
You can't.
It would be hard.
Yeah. For sure.
So, okay. How many times have you been to Disney if you could estimate?
Oh gosh. I mean, I'm an annual pass holder now. So
since 97.
I wish I knew the number.
2007, 2017, 2024. So that's 27 years.
A lot. I really don't know. I wish there was a way.
Wait. 2017, 2000.
So 1997.
97, 2007. 27 years.
Yeah.
Approximately.
I mean, for the longest time.
I've just for reference, I've probably been in that same period of time 5.
I mean, it's a few hundred for sure.
Few hundred.
Yeah. I mean, for a while, because I wasn't where I am today. Like it was a lot to go once every few years, because it was just all I could afford.
Yeah.
I'd have to save and then go and then save and then go. And then in 2015, I became an annual pass holder. My husband and I became annual pass holders. That's what he got me for my 40th birthday. And so then now it's just a thing. It's where I prefer to go. And I don't Disney like when you took your grandkids,
Yeah.
and it's sun up to sundown, balls to the wall the whole time you're there. I don't Disney like that because I go so often. So I go and I stay at the deluxe resorts. I eat at nice restaurants. I'll go ride a ride or two.
You nibble.
Yeah, I'll ride a ride or two. I'll hang out by the pool. It's such nice accommodations and it's beautiful.
So the story was 2 years ago. So bring people up to speed. I decide I want to take my daughter, son-in-law, and my grandkids on one side. I've got 5 kids, 7 grandkids. So one little group to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my daughter probably was more flipped out, still to this day, talks about it more than the grandkids. She's in her 30s.
Yeah.
So flipped out.
Yeah.
Over it. Can't wait to go back. But so I'm like, well, you can go to Disney anytime. No,
you can't.
You can't. I went to book our trip to Disney,
mm-hmm.
and I promise you, listeners, this is not just about Disney. We're talking.
We're getting there.
We're talking about passions. We're talking about unique things. Everybody can have their hobbies. Everybody can have their stuff, and you should have hobbies and stuff.
Yeah.
But they were having a cheerleading
mm-hmm.
competition that week.
Yep.
And they had sold the property out.
Yeah, there were no park reservations.
You could not get in at all.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, how is this even possible? Not any park.
Mm-mm.
So guess who I called?
Well, you made a post.
I made a post.
And I kept getting tagged.
And you got tagged as the Disney queen. So you figured out a way for us to get in there. And we stayed at the Four Seasons, which you recommended, which was lovely.
Yeah, beautiful resort.
And they treated everybody really nice. And we got a mini VIP.
Yeah.
We didn't get the full VIP,
mm-hmm.
which next time we'll get the full VIP.
It's worth it.
We got the mini VIP tour thing that got us, in front of all the lines and stuff,
mm-hmm.
but not the full VIP tour, which is expensive, man.
Very.
It's like $7,000 a day or something, some number.
Yeah, because it's an 8-hour minimum. And then it depends on the time of year. The price changes depending on the time of the year.
And some retired person who has some insider, special golden ticket that can walk you past everybody, and you get glares from people.
They're like, who is it?
Why are you walking past me?
Yeah.
I've been standing here for 3 hours
Yeah.
For the Gryffindor ride, which lasts 60 seconds.
Which is at another park. Disney people will hang you out to dry for that.
Different one. Sorry, Disney people. But not the Gryffindor park. But any of the quick rides that people stand in line for forever.
Yeah.
I am not a line stander.
Same.
I am not going to be like you. I would go to a World Cup if I had a VIP pass. I would go to EDC if they flew me in by helicopter and dropped me off in a suite.
Yeah.
I would go to the Super Bowl, but I'm not standing in any line. If they've called me bougie if you want, but I'm not a line person.
I get it.
And this whole line system,
It's
how can
crazy.
they have that much capacity, that much demand? But let's do this.
Okay.
What are all the business building lessons you have learned from Disney?
Oh gosh. I mean, that started from the first book I read and just learning how many times he was rejected to be where he is. And it never meant that his idea was bad. It just hadn't
Talking about Walt.
Yeah, Walt. Like he just hadn't gotten in front of the right person.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of always in the back of my head that
If you have a vision, the persistence.
if you're just
you have to have
consistent.
it.
And then he just didn't quit. And so what I'd seen very early on in our industry is that most people do. And so all I had to do was outlast the quitters by one day.
Yep.
Every day. And that didn't seem hard to me. And so
there's a sick part of me. And I got this somehow early on in my first 3 years is I got this lesson, right? You might have heard me talk about this lesson. Have you ever heard me talk about the Dave Stuckrath story?
I don't think so.
It's the very first event I ever went to. I'm so excited. I can't afford to be there. I'm by myself. I'm extended on credit cards, and I get up earlier than anyone in the whole place. I'm pressed up against the doors, waiting to get in, trying to get as close to the front as they'll let me get in.
Yeah.
This is going to be my chance. It's going to be my dream. I'm sitting up as close as I can. I'm taking every note like it's my life depended on it. Like I'm taking the bar, and I have to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom. I wait for a quick little break, and there's probably 3,000 people in the room. I go to the bathroom, and I come back, and I'm standing if you imagine standing in the middle of the aisle at the very back, waiting for a moment for like a big applause line so I could run up and sneak up and get back to my chair.
Mm-hmm.
And next to me is this guy. His name is David. And David, the night before, shared that his monthly check was $80,000. And David seemed like a normal guy.
Yeah.
So, you ever stand next to somebody who is kind of in your world semi-famous.
Yeah.
You want to say something.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss the moment, but you don't want to look stupid either.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what do I say? What do I say? I have to say something. And so finally I say, excuse me, David. He said, yeah. I said, it's nice to meet you. My name's Eric. This is my first conference. He said, well, welcome. I said, well, can I ask you a question? And he said, sure. What's the secret? You're making all this money, and I want to make this money, and I have no idea what I'm doing. What's the secret? And he had pity on me because there's no such thing as a secret. There's a million little things.
Yeah.
Right. So he said, Eric, take a look at this audience. I could still see it today. He said, see this group? We do this event 3 times a year. Every 4 months, they did an event like this. And everybody came together. They, typically today it's annual, but at that time, this was a long time ago, it was 3 times a year.
Yeah.
Company was in momentum, good things happening. He said, here's the secret. 4 months from now, when we do this again, half of this room won't be back.
Mm.
But the other, and I said, why? He said, we don't know. And it doesn't matter. It's like, as Jim Rohn would say, don't take that class.
Yeah.
They're just not going to be back for whatever reason. But the other half, on average, will be making twice the amount. They'll be refilled with other people. The ones that left will be refilled with other brand new people.
Yeah.
People like you. But the other half that come back for the second time, they'll be making twice as much as the rest of the room on average.
That's crazy.
I said, okay. He said, but it doesn't stop there. The people who come back twice, the next one in 4 months, half that group won't come back. So I'm saying that now there's a quarter of a room. He said, yeah, that'll be back twice. And the rest will be filled by other people, but that group will be making 4 times the amount of everybody in the room. He said, Eric, it doesn't stop. 4 months after that, half of that group won't come back.
Yeah.
So now it's your 1/8 of the room will come back just 3 times. He said, if you want to get into 1/8 of the room, just come back
Just
3
keep showing
times. And it keeps going.
Yeah.
Half that group, half that group, half that group, half that group, half that group. And pretty soon you're on stage.
Yep.
And he said, it's faster than you think.
Yep.
And I went, you know what? I can do that. So the sick part of me, there should have been a more empowering way for me to think about this. But every time somebody said, I'm not going, it made me feel good.
Mm.
because I outlasted another one.
Yeah.
Like another, I had the Queen song in my mind. Another one bites the dust.
Yep.
And that's all I had to do is separate myself from the rest of that group.
Yeah.
And sure enough, pretty soon I'm up on stage.
Yep.
And I know everybody.
Yep.
And everybody knows me. And the other ones come and they go.
And they're asking you for the secret.
Yeah. And I'm just like, part of it is just showing up. All right. So first lesson is persistence.
Yeah.
Hold to your vision.
Yeah.
Be good,
Yeah. And I think you got to most people are waiting to be perfect to start, and just take messy action. You'll figure it out along the way.
Right.
I mean, it's wild how different I am from 2016 to now. I'm not even the same person.
Right.
And you'll evolve and you'll change if you keep going.
All right. What other lessons have you learned from your Disney experience?
Oh man.
You give one and then I'll give one.
Okay.
From my few experiences that I've been.
Not everyone has to understand or even like your vision for it to become a reality. People didn't understand his vision or even like it, thought it was a ridiculous idea to create an amusement park. And it was genius. Obviously, here we are all these years later, right? 100 years later. And so a lot of people don't get the vision. They don't get why you think this little side thing will actually work out. And that's okay. It's not for them to get. It's for you to keep moving forward and show them. And then those same people will be the people. How'd you do it?
They'll either do that or they'll call you lucky.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a mix.
Yeah.
There's a few that will swallow their pride and say, I was wrong. You were right.
Yeah.
Most of them won't. They're just going to say, oh, you got lucky. You got it in the right time. It's too late for me.
Isn't that funny though?
If they're looking for an excuse, they'll find one.
Yeah.
Another of the big lessons that I got was welcome home. Just those two words.
Yeah.
When you pull in, they say welcome home. They don't say welcome to Disney.
Mm-mm.
They don't say welcome to the Four Seasons. They don't say welcome to the Magic Kingdom. They say welcome home. Because people crave community.
Yep.
They crave belonging. They crave a sense of connection.
They do.
And just that's probably my second favorite. I have three favorites when it comes to corporate phrases.
Mm-hmm.
One is welcome home from Disney. Second is from Chick-fil-A, which is called My Pleasure.
I say that anytime I respond to someone.
My pleasure.
Yep.
And it took him 3 years to get that baked into his culture. Relentlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one, my favorite one, is from the Ritz-Carlton.
Okay.
And you know what that one is? Ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. Think about what that message is. Everybody in the building is a lady and a gentleman serving another lady and a gentleman.
Oh, I like it.
So, to surprise and delight in some way, but giving them their own sense of pride.
Yeah.
So those are my three corporate phrases that sound easy.
Right.
But somebody made a decision that this was going to be a priority.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
To surprise and delight. When, just every time you drive through a Chick-fil-A, you're in awe.
Yeah.
They
should be in charge of more stuff.
They should be in charge. It's a machine.
It is.
Everything from their values. I read once that they lose $650 million a year by closing on Sundays.
Wow.
But at the same time, they believe they would lose more if they opened on Sundays and caved to somebody else's values.
Wow.
Because they have so much more loyalty because of those values.
Yeah.
Because of how they kind of carry themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Any other lessons?
Fun fact.
Yeah.
When I was a preschool teacher, before I was in network marketing, my co-teacher, they owned a Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Did very well.
Did you know that you only get to own one?
Yeah.
That's
it's
the maximum.
I think at the time I remember her sharing like it was a 5,000 startup, like the start.
Almost nothing.
It's
They'll do
almost
everything
nothing.
for you.
Yeah.
They'll do everything for you.
Yeah.
And the average one makes, I think, 125,000 a year.
Yeah.
For running that store.
Yeah.
But since a pride community culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give another one for Disney, and then you can give me one.
Okay.
Everybody that works there is a cast member.
Yeah.
Everybody, every single person. And I used to teach people this when we used to host local meetings, and you should do the same on Zooms and everything else. Everybody's a cast member.
Yeah.
If you have prospects on there, every other person that's on that screen is a cast member, and they have a part to play.
Yeah.
You know, they could have resting bitch face while they're on that Zoom, or they could be bright and shiny and encouraging and chatting in the comments and being a bright light.
Yeah.
But the idea that everybody's part of the show,
Yeah.
is a conscious choice.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't start that way.
Mm-mm.
Somebody came up with that and decided to, all right, this is how we're going to approach it.
Yeah.
What's another lesson?
Systems. So some of the things like how many steps it took him to eat a hot dog was how far apart the trash cans are, so that there would never be an issue with trash being on the ground. And so that's how far apart all the trash cans are on Disney properties, so that there's always a trash can to throw the trash in. So systems in
the hot dog rule.
Yeah. So the systems in network marketing is obviously what makes this thing scalable and work, and making sure that the systems work, and then, massaging them over time through technology and all the things that we deal with inside of our industry. But the systems are key. And that's just one example. Another thing is cast members never point their finger. They always use two fingers.
They always use two fingers.
So that you don't feel like they're pointing at you. They do this with two fingers. Yeah. They're just very intentional about the things that they do, but how it would make someone feel.
2 fingers versus 1 finger. Little things.
Mm-hmm.
Little things. Any other little things that you see?
Oh gosh.
I like the 2 fingers. I like that. I like the trash can thing.
Yeah. I mean, well, and then like making sure that while you're waiting in line, that experience is also enjoyable for people. Like it's an experience in and of itself. And so I think for us in network marketing, making sure while people are waiting to hit the rank, that experience in and of itself is enjoyable for them, and that they feel like they're part of a community and a culture and something bigger than themselves. So they hang on to get to the place where they can hit the rank.
Love that. Make it fun.
Yeah.
Make it enjoyable. Make it a show while they're waiting for success.
Yeah.
While they're waiting for the thrill ride, still make it interesting.
And they do a ton of recognition. If you'll notice on their name tags, like they have different characters based on the number of years they're there, because what do people crave more than anything?
I've never gotten to a name badge that has multiple anything.
Yeah. It'll have like the different characters represent different number of years.
Do you have like all kinds of signage on your door and stuff, like at the hotel that says, you've been here X number of times and all that? No. I think that's maybe just on cruise ships.
Yeah. Now they do on the cruise ships. You get certain status, right now I think I'm silver, but I don't do a ton of cruises.
One of the most fun trips we ever had as a family when my kids were younger was the Disney cruise.
Yeah. We're taking all the grandkids in March.
They really did a great job.
Yeah. We're really excited to take them.
Yeah. What was the other one I was going to share? It'll come to me. Anyway, I'll think of it as any others that stand out. They
do a really good job of training their people too. Like they're very well trained, and I think
you won't find nasty people.
No, and the best trained teams win. And so you've got to have good, up-to-date, quality trainings that get people into income-producing activities inside of our industry. And, I think that just goes hand in hand with what I've seen throughout my experiences with Disney.
The other thing that I see is as frictionless as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Everything they can do to take away friction.
Yeah.
It's like even to they'll put a magic band on you. So you never have to pull out your credit card. You never have to swipe anything.
It's your door key. It's everything.
It's everything from the top to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, the amount of sales that they do.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they don't have all the money in the world, because every time you go, it's just absolutely just smashed, packed, filled with stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to go home with a big pile of stuff that they may or may not use. They might not have a special room like you have.
Just me.
Just you.
Just me.
Has anything else brought you as much joy as far as any other a company, organization, anything?
I mean, I definitely love network marketing. I really, really do. It's my calling. Like it really is. Like it gets me a little emotional.
Why?
I fit.
You fit. You fit in. And you didn't feel like you fit in other places? Why does it get you emotional?
Wow. Wasn't expecting that.
That's all right.
Man. You know, it really my whole life. I didn't feel like I fit in really anywhere. And so, and that carried through into my adult life too. And so, I mean, a lot of that has to do with just being a child. And I certainly, with my mom leaving when I was little, and that.
When did she leave?
I think I was about 2.
Okay.
Yeah, little. And so that,
So you stayed with your father then?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was raised by my dad. And so, and you don't know how that impacts you. You don't know how that's going to impact you throughout your life. And then just that on top of all the other things that you go through and you experience as you're growing up. Some of it my own doing, some of it done to me. And I just always have felt like an outsider, because even though I grew up and I had all these brothers and all these sisters, whether they were steps or halves, or I was really the only the only child my parents had. So it was kind of like in this little bubble in my own head. Now
So did your father get remarried then?
He was married a few times. And so he had my sisters, and then he married my mom and had then me. And then he married a woman that had children, but then they divorced. And so they lasted about 10 years. And then my mom remarried and had a few kids. And so they're kind of all just spread out. Right. I'm the closest to my 2 sisters that my dad had before me, if I'm close to any of them.
I have a friend who has a theory.
What's that?
The theory is there's no such things as mixed families.
It's just family.
As blended families.
Yeah.
Not even just family. It's they all are distinct.
Yeah.
And you may or may not be close. You may or may not be friends. You may or may not be, tied at the soul. They might just be another person. They might be drama. They might be somebody you don't want to talk with.
Or don't want to be.
Mm-hmm. So
I think really a lot of it too was there was a lot of gifts and talents that God put in me. And I feel like the devil worked overtime to keep that suppressed, because he knew if I stepped into my calling and what God had for me.
Give me an example.
It would be dangerous for him. I mean, just thinking I'm not enough, or that I'm not worthy, or who's going to listen to me after my past and the things that I've experienced and been through. And none of those things are true. My past gives people hope that they can get out of what they're going through or have been through.
Let's talk about this past.
Okay.
So where did you come from? What created this early trauma in your life? Because the other thing that I love about you is you're actually accomplishing what I'm trying to accomplish, which is reverse aging. You're actually doing it.
I'm doing Benjamin Button style.
You're doing Benjamin Button. You're going the opposite direction. I'm trying, mostly failing, but I'm trying.
You're doing great.
I'm trying.
You're doing really well.
To like fight father time. But there's a quote from, I can't remember where it came from, but I heard it first from Gloria Vanderbilt. She said, "The past isn't over. It's not even past."
Mm.
It's people say, leave it in the past. You can't. It's part of you.
Part of who you are.
You can reframe it.
Yeah.
You can tell a different story about it, but it is part of your makeup.
Yeah.
And it could either crush you or it could serve you.
Yeah.
Depending on how you approach it.
Yeah.
You don't know in the moment.
Mm-mm.
You feel like this isn't fair or this is horrific. And later you realize it worked for you. It was necessary as part of your journey.
Yeah.
So take me back to the childhood trauma. And what happened? How'd you get through it? How did you become such an overcomer instead of a victim?
Well, it took a long time. I was, like I said, you don't know how being abandoned is going to affect you. You just don't know.
Were you abandoned? You feel like even at 2, when you can't really recognize the fact that mom left, you still had an abandonment seed was planted?
For sure. I mean, based on what I know, what I was told is I was her whole world and then she was gone. And so even if I don't recall being her whole world, I feel like it has to be some sort of core memory in there for then later in life for me
Did you ever reconnect with her?
Oh, yeah.
And?
I mean, we're good today. I mean, it's not what I would hope it would be for a mother and daughter. It just is. But here's what I've come to understand, Eric. Like, mentally healthy people don't leave their children. So I've forgiven her. Mentally healthy people don't leave their children. Like, they don't walk away from their children, and so that gave me peace. Now the devil wanted me to believe another lie, that it was me and that if my own mother couldn't love me, then how could anyone else love me? But then God's truth tells me mentally healthy people don't leave their children, and it's not me. And she just needed work. And honestly, probably it spared me a lot of unnecessary pain.
Because if she was dysfunctional, she would have passed that dysfunction on.
Yeah. And so it took me a long time.
You got a different form of dysfunction.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then that carried on into, because it doesn't represent itself in anyone the same, right? And so for me, it was this constant need of approval and seeking it in the wrong areas, whether it was relationships or food or drinking. I nearly drank myself to death. I ended up in jail twice for DUIs within 13 months of each other. Hold on. You can't
take me from 2 years old straight to that.
Straight to jail.
So how do I go from 2 years old to walk me through
undealt with trauma? So like I just was going through life. I
had a lot of
life. I got
family members coming in and
coming and going. Yes, I got pregnant at 17.
Okay.
And I have the baby, so now I'm a mom.
Were you a decent student?
Oh yeah, I was smart. I mean, I ended up quitting school because I had a baby, but then I got my GED and ended up going to college for a little bit. But it wasn't my thing.
Okay.
But then I would the first job that I recall. I mean, I had other jobs, but like the first job I recall was selling beepers, and I was top in the company. Like I've always had this natural ability in like the sales world without having ever read a book about it. I just was good at dealing with people and building that, know, like, trust.
Do you think it's because of the people pleaser side of you?
I really don't know, because I'm so wildly different than my parents. Like I often like, are y'all really my parents? Because I'm so different than them.
Why? You feel you're an extrovert or an introvert?
Oh, extrovert. I mean, I'm an extrovert, but I definitely, when I've been in a crowd or an event,
either one.
No, but I'm definitely, when I've been around a lot of people at an event, like I have to have a couple of days.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm
definitely very extroverted for sure.
So you're comfortable in group environments.
Yeah. Now it was a struggle for me in network marketing to be comfortable at people that were more successful than me because I didn't feel worthy. So then that was a battle I had to overcome to
So worthiness issues.
Oh yeah.
So early on, worthiness issues reared their ugly head.
Mm-hmm.
And from those worthiness issues, you acted out.
Yep.
In various forms.
Yep.
Whether it was relationships, dating, drinking and driving, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Would you live in a small town?
Kind of, yeah. I guess it would be called a small town.
You live in...
I'm in a suburb of Nashville.
Suburb of Nashville.
Yeah.
I have a core belief that boredom is one of the most dangerous things that could happen to a child as they're growing up, because you will fill that gap, and it's usually filled with alcohol and sex and behavior of dangerous sorts.
Yeah.
Just to get a rush of some sort. I grew up in a small town, and everybody gets pregnant in a small town. Everybody drinks too much in a small town. Everybody has a red cup party on the weekend, for $5 or $10 for the cup, with a kegger in the backyard in a small town. Everybody's making out in the back seat of a car in a small town. I mean, I had to get out of there.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I'm a big town person. Mm-hmm. I love to visit a small town. I love the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
I love I don't like the cattiness and the gossipy part of it, but I do like the sense of community part of it. Mm-hmm. And, the friendly neighbor part of it. Mm-hmm. And even though it's sometimes in the South, it can be on the face, but not in the heart.
Yeah.
Hey, darling, how you doing? That bitch,
bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Guess what? Let me tell you about him. Yeah. So the Southern hospitality sometimes can be, is authentic. And I know some true Southern belles and Southern gentlemen that are just gems.
Yeah.
But Midwest nice is the same.
Yeah.
I'm from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So Midwest nice means you're nice to the face, but you're going to say other stuff as soon as they walk away. And maybe it's just human nature. Maybe it's everywhere. I don't know. And other than New York, where they'll just tell you straight to your face, I think you're ugly. Get out of my way. You're a waste of space, fatso. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So I had to warm up to New York's charms that way. I learned to appreciate it because they're just saying what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
Just straight up. In the South, it's a little different.
Well, my first mentor, and the reason I considered him my mentor, which he didn't know he was my mentor, was Andy Frisella, because he was just in your face.
Just straight up.
And that's what I needed. I needed just shoot me straight. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it was actually the late Jessie Lee Ward. She was at the time one of my uplines, and I was trying to earn a leadership retreat with her. Mm-hmm. And one of the tasks you had to do every day was listen to whatever podcast she sent you. Mm-hmm. And it was his. And I was like, oh God, what is this? At first. And now
F-bombs everywhere.
Yeah. And now I go to his wife's Women in Business event every year. I mean, I love that family. They just, because you know what you're getting.
Yep.
You know what you're getting.
It's straight up. It's authentic.
Yep.
Whatever it is, it is.
Yep.
Yeah. I struggled with my, confession time. My own net worth, my own self-worth, my whole life.
Okay.
Not feeling worthy, not feeling deserving, not feeling capable, being a terrible student in school, not fitting in, being just an okay athlete, just enough to be on the teams, but mostly to be backup on every team.
Yeah.
I was never a star. Went to one trimester of community college, had 18 jobs before I joined network marketing, before I found my thing. Yeah. Like you say, finding your thing, finding this space where you could be you.
Yeah.
And get some traction.
Yeah.
For once. Right. But I thought I conquered self-worth because I was an earner.
Mm.
I could earn.
Yeah.
I had the pin.
Right.
I was on stage. I was speaking.
Yeah.
And people knew my name, but I didn't. I was still performing more than I was being. And the way my lack of self-worth demonstrated itself in my life was mostly through finance, finance and relationships. In finance, I would earn, but I would never have any money.
Mm.
So I would find a way to sabotage my money.
Mm.
In relationships, I would allow people to treat me badly, and not have boundaries around that.
Yeah.
Just especially the more prestige they had, the more I let them abuse me, or treat me not to standards that I would accept today.
Right.
So anyway, it took me a long time, really long time.
Yeah.
Marina helped me a lot with this to figure out finally that you're worthy, you're capable, you're deserving. And with or without the external validation.
Yeah.
External validation is really nice.
Oh, yeah.
In our space.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of it.
Yeah.
If you crave external validation, if you crave recognition, if you crave somebody to appreciate you, if you crave somebody to pat you on the back or to see you, you'll be seen.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to separate yourself from the crowd.
At all.
Hey there, just a quick interruption, especially for network marketers. Whether you're just starting out or if you're ready to level up, GoPro Academy has just what you need to take your network marketing business to the next level. Get step-by-step training on how to get started or restarted the right way, and then get everything you need to earn 6 figures or more and become a network marketing pro. To learn more, just visit goproacademy.com. I've helped millions of people learn how to recruit tens of thousands of people to reach 6 figures. And I've personally helped more than 1,000 people achieve 7-figure incomes and above in network marketing. I can help you too. Head to goproacademy.com today, and I'll see you there. So how did that exhibit itself, the self-worth stuff with you?
Oh, gosh. I don't even know that I consciously knew it was self-worth.
I didn't either until 45. Until I was 45 years old.
Literally in my 40s, same.
Yeah.
I didn't know that that's what all that was.
I finally realized, somebody told me something. They said, if you want to see the story of your life, look for repeating patterns.
Yeah.
What keeps happening?
Yeah.
And it's not them, it's you.
The lesson's repeated until it's learned.
Yes. They will repeat over and over and over and over and over. This always happens to me. This always happens to me. This always happens to me. This always happens to me.
Yeah.
And once I realized that the repeating pattern was me, I went, oh, yeah. Now let's start looking for them. Because I would sabotage my health.
Same.
Because I didn't feel, my self-image was not of a fit person.
Yeah.
I would sabotage, my brain would turn off and I would eat the wrong foods. And then it would turn back on and I would feel bad about it as soon as I was done eating it.
Yeah.
Right. So repeating patterns, it took me a long time and other help to finally figure that out. But my ambition was strong enough that I was still a performer. I was still an earner. I was still helping other people, and that still had its satisfactions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But how did it exhibit itself with you? You're 17. You've got a little one. You get your GED, which can't feel great compared to walking across the stage.
Oh, for sure.
And getting your diploma.
Yeah.
Go to college for a minute.
Yeah. And then I had 3 kids by the time I was 23.
3 kids.
Yeah.
Same guy?
Well, I had my son in high school, and then I had 2 with my ex-husband.
Okay.
And then I was a mom.
So your identity flipped to mom.
Mom. All I wanted to do was just be the best mommy.
Be the best mommy.
Homeschooling
Nothing
them,
wrong with being the best
taking
mommy
them
in
to
the world.
church and just doing, But the thing was, is I had all the undealt with trauma. And so then in my early 30s.
What can you list what was the undealt with trauma?
I mean, just did bad decisions on my part, as a teenager, being promiscuous, just, with my mom and that relationship throughout those years, then the stepmom and then she left. And so now I had
a double abandonment.
Yep. And then even some issues in that relationship where she had a daughter that was 3 years older than me. And, we were getting the same things at Christmas. Hers was nicer. And so then again, that was just feeding that beast in me that I'm not enough. And so, and then I didn't even know what self-development was or it wasn't talked about in my home. So there was no therapy or anything to kind of help me work through. It was just, just really pushing through white knuckling life until I couldn't white knuckle anymore. And then,
how long did it take you to trust a relationship that you weren't going to get abandoned?
Oh, that probably just happened about 3 years ago.
Really?
Oh yeah. That I felt safe.
And how many times was somebody, could they have been trusted, but you didn't give them a chance to, or you pushed them to the point where they said, well, if they're going to believe it about me, I might as well, whatever. You know what I mean? Because I've done the same.
Yeah.
So were there ever people you pushed away prematurely because you just didn't feel like you couldn't, once you started having feelings, you're like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to handle this if you walk away. So I'm going to do it first.
Or, I mean, honestly, I was just really bad at picking people. Because of where I was just attracting where I was like we do now, I mean, and so because of where I was, the type of people I was attracting, whether even just friends, they weren't healthy. Right. So I was just, because I was so unhealthy, I was attracting very unhealthy people. And then I quite literally lost my mind in my early 30s and just.
Explain that.
I mean, I just got divorced. It was, it was completely on me. Like it was me making bad decisions. I nearly drank myself to death in about an 18-month period. I ended up getting divorced. My dad passes away, my only constant, right? In a very tragic, every death's tragic, but he had been sick, but then he got pancreatic cancer and died 3 weeks to the day later. It was gone. And so, and I was nowhere in my right state of mind to deal with that type of loss either. So that just compounded.
You got 3 kids that are like 10 years old, 12 years old.
Yeah, they're little. And so, yeah, and then also too.
Were you married at the time or no?
Divorced now. I was then divorced. And I was single for 8 years before I met Donnie.
So you were divorced at that time.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are kind of like an age where they can kind of take care of themselves. Yeah. So you go to alcohol.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Real hard every day, every night. I mean, I would get up and go to work, but every night I would drink and just by myself.
Yeah.
Just by myself.
That's a sign.
Oh yeah. It was rough. I mean, and then at the end, I just, what really kind of put me over the edge was I wasn't going to drink. I'd gotten these tickets to a bowl game. We're UT volunteer fans. And I'd gotten my oldest son, Caleb, loves the Vols. And so I'd gotten him the tickets for Christmas. And I wasn't going to drink. And I did at that game. And that was on December the 30th of 2010. And the next day I woke up and I was so embarrassed that I embarrassed him.
Did he act embarrassed?
He says it wasn't as bad as I make it out to be. He just had to drive us home. I couldn't drive, obviously. It's just not what a mother should do with her son. And so I had a friend that I knew went to these meetings. And so I just reached out and was like, can you just tell me where to go? And so my thought that day, which was now New Year's Eve, was, if this doesn't work, I'm just going to end my life. I don't want my kids to see me like this anymore.
What changed it?
Because I went to a room and there were people talking about all their issues, and suddenly I didn't feel so alone. I didn't know people that had issues like me, that had dealt with things that I had dealt with. And so it was just the first time I'd ever been in a room with people that were very normal. I mean, I can't really tell you who's in the room, but there were some famous people in there. And because I live in Nashville, so there's, a lot of famous people that live in Nashville. And so suddenly I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So really cool people are messed up too. And so then it was just really overcoming Tina for a lot of years.
Tell me about that. What do you mean by that?
Just all the old patterns and the way of thinking and how I had
been.
What
were some of the most destructive patterns?
Running people off for sure, without even knowing that that's what I was doing. Really, I wasn't consciously aware. I just didn't want to be hurt again. That was really it. I just didn't want to be hurt again. So I was just trying to be super protective of that. But then at the same time, giving in to the wrong people. Like it was this weird cycle of where I was. But then I'm not even angry that any of it happened, because I learned so much in that program and through those people. And it was the first time I'd ever read a self-development book.
What were your kids thinking during this time?
Oh, they were so proud.
Really? Well, that's got to be good. Yeah. Because they knew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They knew mama had a problem.
Oh, yeah.
And they loved you, but they knew that you had a problem.
Yeah. And then our life started to get better.
And you're happy you're getting help.
Yeah. I was living with my sister at the end of it all.
Were you able to provide during this time?
Oh, yeah. I was working and providing. I had to live with my sister
for a little
while. Oh, yeah. Always. And then I ended up getting a job at Lowe's. And I had a restricted license. So it was very limited to what I could do because I was on those restricted license. But I got a job at Lowe's.
From the DUI. Got it.
Yeah. And so I don't really know what in me made this occur, but I was like, again, I was looking at everyone at Lowe's and I was like, okay, so I just have to outperform these people and I'll probably get a better position.
Pretty freaking messed up.
And so I just started outperforming people very quickly, very, very quickly. So I got, within 9 months, I went from being a seasonal employee mixing paint in the paint department at Lowe's to the most sought after position in the store, which was called a PSE, a project specialist exteriors, where if you needed windows, roof, gutters, siding, fences, deck, generators, or HVAC, I came into your home and I quoted it and I sold it to you. And I became top 10% in Lowe's in the company a very short time. And I thought I'd hit the big time. Like I was living the dream, And then in the meantime, during that process too, I meet Donnie, I get remarried. And so life is definitely.
How did you meet Donnie?
He actually worked at Lowe's. We didn't meet. I knew of him at Lowe's, but we met 2 years later when he had moved on from Lowe's, and we reconnected over. I was having an HR issue at Lowe's, and somebody said, "Why don't you ask Donnie about some advice?" And so
he wasn't there.
He was no longer there. No, he had gone on.
Okay.
And so that's how we connected. Wildly different than anyone I'd ever dated, for sure.
Isn't it funny? Like your type when you're a kid, and then your type when you become a woman.
Yeah, totally different. And so, I really thought, and honestly, at this point, no one prospected me when I was a single mom and struggling, barely able to make ends meet. I knew my friends sold stuff, but I didn't know I could too. Like I didn't know it was a thing I could do. Right. And then when someone did prospect me, I was now making 6 figures, barely, at Lowe's. So I thought I'd hit the big time. Right. And so I was like, no, y'all should.
That is the big time.
I was literally, my attitude was, not only am I not going to do it, it's kind of embarrassing that you are.
How much was Donnie making?
Oh, Donnie's always done very well. He's in corporate America.
Doing great.
Yeah,
Lifestyle's
currently
good.
he's a vice president Camping World. Like he does well.
Yeah, and your kids.
Yeah, but then it just dawned on me one day. I was making all this money, or to me it seemed like so much money for me, right? But I had 2 weeks of vacation a year, and you know how much I travel, and that just felt like prison. And so then I was watching these women who were very normal women living these extraordinary lives with their kids and their grandkids. And I knew my kids were getting to the age that grandchildren were a real possibility. And I just desperately wanted what they had. And it wasn't their stuff.
I'm seeing a pattern the pattern is I just have to do a little bit better than these people.
Yeah.
Whether it's Lowe's or inside a network, I just have to do a little bit better.
Yep.
And I will differentiate myself.
Yep.
I'll rise to the top.
Yep.
Interesting.
And so I jumped in and I failed miserably.
And when was this the first time?
February of 2016.
February 2016.
When I joined.
You jumped in and you say you failed miserably.
I failed forward for sure.
Why?
Well, I mean, there just wasn't systems in place. It was really me throwing spaghetti at a wall, trying to figure out what would stick. I mean, that's how the Mouse Ears even became a thing, because I was just like.
And when did we meet?
We met in 2019
So
officially.
3 years after
I
that.
went to my first GoPro that first year in 2016. And I was telling my sister last night, I was like, it was $300 a ticket. I spent $600 for the back seats, and it felt like $1 million to me.
Yeah.
And I really went because Tony Robbins was going to be there. And I was like, oh, I would love to hear him speak,
Yeah.
And so, but we met in 2019.
Was that at the Mirage?
Yeah. I had super VIP. That was a big deal. Yeah.
So you got a picture and everything.
That included the party here at the house.
Yep.
And so that was going to be really cool. And I just thought, let's go for it. Let's just do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I almost quit. So I got in. And I was spending more than I was making because I was going to the events.
That's what it takes at the beginning.
It does. I was buying my products,
grind.
using my products, buying the swag, going to the events. And then, so December of 2016, you guys ran a 12 days of Christmas thing where you were giving away stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I won tickets to Most Powerful Women. And so fast forward to March of the following year, it was really going to be my last hoorah. And I'd already started applying for jobs because I didn't add this, but in August of 2016, I got fired from that job at Lowe's.
From Lowe's? Why?
It was a technicality in a contract, but they were looking for a reason. For long story short, a woman in a man's world doing better than all the men. And
you're in the South.
Yeah.
I lived in Nashville for a minute.
Okay.
So I learned about the Mason-Dixon line. I learned about Yankees versus non-Yankees. I learned there's only so far certain people are going to go.
Yeah.
In different roles.
Mm-hmm.
This was a long time ago. I'm sure things have changed somewhat.
Yeah.
There's some things that are deep.
Mm-hmm.
But different pace,
Mm-hmm.
different rules. The glass ceiling exists.
Yep. It does.
The color ceiling exists. The Mason-Dixon line exists. What family you're from exists, which I suppose is true everywhere.
Yeah.
So you outperform, you do this great job. They're looking for a reason. They find the reason.
Yep.
But
it was a blessing.
And now you find yourself with randomly, because we argue over this. Should we give away free stuff? Because will people value it?
Yeah.
And my argument always is, the whole team discusses this. My argument is, it's just the one. You never know.
You never know
who's going to be in the room. You never know who's going to say, this was the sign that I was praying for. This was the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a ticket.
I do.
To the Most Powerful Women.
Yeah.
And you come and attend, and what happens?
And it was everything I could to get here. It was every dollar, because at the time my husband's company that he was working for was actually going through bankruptcy, and he wasn't even sure if he was going to have a job. We did have this unreasonable peace about everything just because of our faith. But we were like, I was like, well, I'll go.
He was supportive of you.
Oh yeah. He was like, well, the first month he was like, hey babe, you spent more than you made. I don't know if this is going to work out. Of course, now he thinks it's a genius idea. But yeah, I mean, I just went and I didn't have any money when I got here. I was literally had snacks in my purse because we got paid the next day so that I could eat then the next day, not out of my purse. And I shared a room with like 4 other girls so that I could even afford to stay. And we didn't stay at the hotel it was at. I stayed at a different one.
Was this the first time I met you or
no, we didn't
prior
meet
to that?
then.
We didn't meet then.
Actually, I take that back. We briefly met because then I ended up connecting with some women in my company who had like the super VIP, and you allowed them to bring some of the guests to the garden party, and they brought me.
Oh, I remember that.
So there's a picture.
Like a Gatsby party kind of
yes,
thing?
Yes. And so we met at that garden party very, very briefly and did a photo.
Big photo line.
But
that's my role at those places. I stand in one spot and take a million photos.
Right. But then it was in the event itself. And someone had said, if you've earned 6 figures or more, stand up. And it was just wild to me, the number of people that stood up. Because here I was thinking, like 5 will. Like, there can't be that many people making that much money in this industry because I'm struggling so bad, And I don't know how that one thing shifted something in my head, but it just occurred to me I had to get really serious about the skills. It's possible. And if I got serious about the skills and I just did the income producing skills, that would translate to dollars. And so the next month I made $4,000 and it felt like $4 million.
What did you do different?
I just went home and I started doing things that actually produced income instead of things that kept me busy. Because I feel like that's what a lot of people get trapped in. They're like, oh, I worked hard, but none of the things produce income. And so just chit-chatting in chats or scrolling social media or whatever it might be, those things aren't going to produce income. You got to talk to people. You got to follow up with people. And then you got to talk to more people. And you got to follow up with more people. And I just came real aggressive about that. And then my social media presence. And that's where the ears were born. Because
Who taught you to get a little more active on social media?
I mean, I did a live video challenge. And again, it was one of those things. It was a 31-day live video challenge. And I thought to myself, and I won it. I won the challenge. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
who created the challenge?
It was in my former company, and John Melton was by upline at the time.
Got it.
One of them. And I thought, well, what would happen if I went 32 days? Mm-hmm. Well, what about 33? And then I didn't have near as many then. I just had a few pair, but I was like, bet if I put those on, people would stop just to see what the crazy girl Mousers is talking about.
That's the first thing I told you, right? Mm-hmm. So smart.
So I popped them on.
And you're not wearing them today. What the heck?
I know. Well, here, we'll talk about it.
Have you walked away from the trademark?
I wear them on stage now.
Okay.
They're for stage.
Okay.
Yeah, they're reserved for stage
because they can't be forever.
No, yeah. So now I just reserve them for stage. And really, I still wear them now for stage because I really want people to know that they can be exactly who they are and succeed.
Yeah.
And that's just something.
Do you wear them for social ever?
Some. I mean, like in pictures when I do Disney and stuff, but I don't wear them in lives anymore or none of that. Just on stage. Huh. Yeah. But so I just ended up going live 187 days straight. And I don't know why that number. I don't know what it was.
187. But what did you do on these lives?
I would read self-development books and I would regurgitate what I learned. And
just
so
give them a tip.
That's it. And I would just talk about what I was learning. Yeah. And the only person getting on for probably 60 days was my husband. And then we learned a little trick. If he could comment 100 times, it would boost it. And then maybe I'd get 2 viewers. And so he would comment as fast as he could, as many emojis as he could, so that it would kind of boost me.
Aww.
I know. And it was just he and I, and he, and then eventually.
How long were the lives?
15, 20 minutes maybe. That was before, the attention span was 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was about day 80 or 90 is when I call it my tipping point. Where then suddenly there was 5 or 6 viewers, and then that would turn into 10.
Really, just 5 or 6?
Yeah. I mean, it was, but after for me, that was huge. Oh yeah. I mean, it was huge for me because no one knew who I was, and I didn't come. Keep in mind, I told you the past, so it's not like I didn't have a warm market joining me. They were like, "Oh, we just hope she don't go back to jail." Like,
really?
Oh, for sure. Everybody I was recruiting was complete strangers on the internet. And so when people have a warm market, I'm like, you were already ahead of me. I didn't even have that. And I'm not, even though I'm extroverted at home, I'm not super social. I'm not a part of anything at home. I need to become better at it for sure.
Me too.
But I'm not. I'm very social on social media. And so it was just a matter of growing my audience. And then it just little by little started to build upon itself, and then that year in 2017, I think I ended up making like $60,000. I was like, oh snap. Like I'm making a real income.
So by the time you went through, why'd you stop at 87 days?
I just thought, I didn't stop completely. I just didn't go every single day. I just was doing
How
it like
often were you doing
3 or
it
4
after
times
that?
a week.
3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah. And then I just stayed on it.
And the viewers
Yep.
kept growing?
Yep.
So if you did a live today, how many viewers would you have?
I mean, it would heavily depend if I promote, but I can feel alive. People want to know what I have to say.
Like how many?
100.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 100 people.
Yeah.
Watching,
But way more replay viewers.
I get it.
Yeah.
Watching more live. And are you allowed to say how much you make?
Yeah.
How much you making now?
Right now, right around 80,000 with customer commissions.
$80,000 a month with 100 people following on a live. I want people to just hear that.
Yeah.
$80,000 a month with 100 people following on a live. You don't have to have 100,000 or 100 million. You just need a small little tribe.
Yeah. Someone told me once, you don't need 1 million fans. You just need 1,000 super fans.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I can't remember that book.
It's Pat Flynn.
That's the one.
Yeah. Super fans.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's doable.
Yeah.
I can make 1,000 people fall in love with me.
You can find 1,000 people
for sure
that love what you love and like you and love to do business with you.
Yeah.
So I want to back up for a second.
Okay.
You had an alcohol problem.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how you exhibited your pain.
Right.
Or tried to.
It was an undealt with trauma problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
You went to a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that there was other screwed up people, which was encouraging.
Yeah.
And then I didn't hear the rest of the story because most people don't quickly recover, and most people don't recover at all.
I know.
It was like 80% don't.
Yeah.
Even inside of programs, even inside of in-treatment programs.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. I mean, there was still a little bit of back and forth sometimes. It never got to that point again for sure. But what really shifted things for me was honestly when I got into network marketing and then self-development world opened up to me. I didn't know about all of these people and these books. And so once I started reading the books and dealing with the things and then being intentional about buying books to deal with the things that I was experiencing or had experienced, and I healed those parts of me that was so broken, then I just.
So did you go to the meetings regularly?
I did for a long, long time. I went regularly.
How long?
Oh gosh. Probably a few years, year and a half.
Daily,
years.
weekly?
In the beginning, daily for sure. It had to be
daily for how
me.
long?
A year.
Okay, and then weekly for how long?
And I'm always so careful to share this part because some people have to still go every day.
I understand.
And I don't want to ever.
I'm not. There's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
But you're a case of somebody who came out the other side.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
I have family members that really struggle.
Yeah.
With it and have tried everything.
Yeah.
And have convinced themselves that, for example, they can't go to sleep unless they have a drink and unless they're inebriated.
Yeah.
That's the only way that they're going to sleep. Otherwise, they'll be up all night.
Yeah.
Or.
Right.
So when did you feel like this part of your life was behind you and it could be a story that could help other people instead of your story that you're going to live every day or be afraid of relapsing or whatever?
Yeah. Probably 2018-ish is when I really felt like, and I just began to understand that it didn't have to be hidden, and it would actually give people hope, and that all the broken parts of me weren't unnecessary. They in fact will make me more relatable to the average person, because whether it's the same or different, everybody struggles with something and has issues that they've gone through and traumas, even if they look different. And so I just little by little, as I felt comfortable, just started sharing more and more of my truth with the world. And as I did, my inbox was flooded.
Just by being authentic and
Mhm.
saying, you know what, I've gone through this struggle, and if you're going through it, I can help.
Yeah.
Or at least I can be a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
know,
just because they
not
see
pretending
themselves
you had an answer.
and then seeing that you can come out on the other side better. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even recognizable to the woman that I was at
Well,
all.
in a bunch of ways, and I want to talk about that.
For sure.
Because energetically you're similar.
Oh yeah.
You're very, very similar to the person I met.
Yeah.
Very first time I met you.
And that's been me like I've always had this very big personality. Like even when I was little, I was just this.
I wouldn't say it's huge. I would just say it's pleasant.
Yeah.
And it's kind, and it's
Mm.
smiley and sparkly, and it's nice. It's an attractive personality.
Well, thank you.
Right. So life of the party type, you know,
Yeah.
like there's a little spotlight following you around the party, you know, even though there isn't.
Yeah. Right.
But there kind of is. You know, there's 200 people, 300 people. Everybody in the party is going to say, did you see that person? And everybody's going to know who you're talking about. You know, not just the ears, but the energy.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm guessing, like you, your self-worth exhibited itself, or your lack of self-worth exhibited itself physically.
Mm-hmm.
To a point.
Yeah, because I was definitely someone that struggled with 10 or 15 pounds.
You're pretty. You're
Oh,
pretty. But you're different today.
Oh, for sure. I ended up gaining. So after like 2013, 2014, I was dealing with a whole different type of thing, just raising teenagers, which, you know, can be interesting. And I just stopped taking care of me completely. I gained a little over 100 pounds in a few years.
100 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't remember the 100 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I've lost over 100 now. Yeah.
I remember, you know, what
like
I
when
think
you
of,
and I met in 2019.
I would guess it's 2025 or something.
Oh, no. No,
Really?
I was about 245, and right now I'm sitting at 140.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was the ears. You were paying attention to the ears.
No. It was the energy and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would have noticed if it was sloppy. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was always put together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I would. Yeah. I'd help.
You packed it.
I tried my best.
You had the Spanx. You had the Spanx going. You had all the stuff.
We burned the Spanx. I will never wear a pair of those again, ever. Those are like jail. I don't ever want to see them. I don't care if I have cellulite. I'm never doing it again. They're awful.
I wore one of those shirts once, and I thought I was going to die.
Oh, they're awful.
I felt like I was a sausage put in the microwave for too long.
It's awful.
Like I was just going to pop right out of my skin. It was just like the worst thing ever.
No.
Sarah Blakely, hey, no offense,
none
Sarah.
whatsoever.
You know, hey,
you saved me when you saved me.
Everybody's got to do your thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. But so when did you make the conscious choice that says, you know what? This does not represent me.
Oh, well, I'd had some success in network marketing, and I was being asked to speak on stages, and the people that I was speaking with weren't unhealthy. The successful people that I was interacting with, they weren't, at this time I was still smoking, which is so foreign now. They weren't smoking cigarettes. They weren't overweight. They were taking care of themselves physically too. And so it seemed like a very overwhelming number. And there was a lot that went into it, but I just took it 10 pounds at a time.
Was a little bit of peer pressure then?
Not peer pressure.
Because you're watching these other people.
I just didn't want to, I just wanted to do whatever it took. That's all, because I could see the path. I could see the path to where I was headed and where I wanted to go. And that was going to require a newer version of me. And I think that just is going to continue, right? And it may not always be related to weight, or it's your mindset or whatever you're going through, but you got to just be willing to confront whatever's in front of you at the time that you're dealing with and overcome it. And that's where I was at a crossroads. And so like most things in my life, it didn't go as planned. I was exhausted, truly exhausted. I quote unquote tried diets, and so I thought weight loss surgery
Who hasn't?
I thought that was going to be the ticket. And I'm one of very few people who had gastric sleeve. Who I lost 37 total pounds, and that was it. And I was devastated.
You thought that was going to be the thing.
I thought that was going to be it for me, and it just stopped. And I was like, what is wrong with me? But then 2020 happened and everyone was home. And so it was honestly a blessing for me because it forced me to deal with me. And so I was too embarrassed to go to a gym. So I just started walking 10,000 steps in my neighborhood. I got real strict on keto, and I started carrying food with me to restaurants. I still to this day keep my own special sugar in my purse, and I'm just prepared now. Like I have what I need. And then I just had to change my relationship with food because for 20 plus years, I was also bulimic. And so it had this, it was another way that just.
See, I hate throwing up so much. Otherwise I would have been.
I wish that would have been me.
I hate throwing up so much, but otherwise, like yesterday wasn't a good food day for me, and I felt like garbage going to bed at night. Because daytime's good.
Nighttime's always been my weak spot.
After 7, man, I can add 1,000 calories fast.
Yeah.
So fast. I can do so good up until 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I can crush it.
Yeah.
But nighttime. I mean, it's like I got to either go to bed or like sew my mouth shut. Something.
Right.
So 10 pounds at a time.
Yeah.
Walking.
Yeah. I just walked.
What did you do with nutrition?
I did keto. I was very, very strict keto.
Intermittent
I did some intermittent fasting as well. And then it worked. I mean,
how about gym? Because you look fit.
Well, I decided, okay, I really need to get in the gym, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I hired a trainer. I still have that trainer today. So I've been 3.5 years with her. And I never thought I would love to lift, and I would prefer it over anything.
Yeah, lifting is the name of the game.
It is. It just changes especially as we age, we need to build muscle. And so I just really, really enjoyed it. And I love my time with her. It's just I can escape it. All the things it's supposed to do, it does. And so I love it.
So 100 pounds down.
Yeah.
80,000 a month.
Yeah.
Loving your life with the love of your life.
Yeah.
Did you end up passing him in income?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
He has always been so proud of me, and he's never been the man that bothered him. I mean, he will jokingly
bother some guys.
Oh, I know. I've seen it. He's always, that's my sugar mama. He's just.
He older than you, younger than you?
He is. He's 10 years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just so proud. He's so proud of, because he's had the front row seat.
Can he keep up with you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And always?
Always. Yeah, absolutely. He is the male version of me. It's so interesting. Like we are really.
Childhood trauma too?
Oh, yeah. He said recovering, like he was on heroin and meth, and he's got sober at 32. And then that's when his corporate career, he got a job in cabinets at Lowe's and worked his way from $8 an hour to where he is today. Yeah. Yeah.
So now you're the rich people in Tennessee.
I guess so, yeah. And honestly, we more than rich with money, we're rich with time with those babies. Like, because my kids obviously
how many grandkids?
We have 5.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't have any children of his own. So you wouldn't know that if you met us. You would not know my children aren't his. And I mean, those grandbabies, hook, line, and sinker. Like he's just done for.
Are they all around you? Close?
Oh yeah. Within 15 minutes.
I'm jealous.
Oh yeah.
I'm jealous.
We're always together.
I have 3 in Minnesota. I have 3 in Pennsylvania, and I have 1 in Dubai.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So it is not easy.
Yeah, that's really difficult.
And when we go visit, it's this big, crazy, out of control, mayhem.
Yeah.
I like just being around and just watching the little things and watching them be little people.
I know. It's so fun.
That's what I love.
It's so fun.
We did we did a trip for my birthday this last March and took all of them, all the kids and all the grandkids, all the boyfriends and girlfriends and spouses and mom and dad and everybody down to Cabo in this big, huge beach house.
That was beautiful.
A massive place. Everybody had their own space.
Yeah.
And that was perfect. Now we're not quite to the age where like a Disney cruise is going to make sense because some of them are too young.
Yeah.
A few of them, but a year or two.
Yeah.
I can see that. And I'm looking forward to that, to be able to do that. But what advice do you have for somebody who is maybe struggling or trying to figure out this network marketing thing, wondering if they're enough, have their own self-worth issues, wondering if it's too late for them, or if they're too screwed up to be successful? What advice do you have for them as far as what's possible here? Because what happened for you is not an accident.
No.
It was 1,000 little 1% decisions.
Yeah.
That led you here.
Yeah.
And some hard ones. Some ones that were not fun.
Yeah.
A little bit difficult.
Yeah.
A little bit challenging. Maybe a lot challenging.
Yeah. Even inside the industry.
Yeah. I'm sure there was some tears. I'm sure there was some laughter. I'm sure there was some drama. I'm sure there was some hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Like anytime you build an organization. How many people you have on your team now?
7,000.
7,000 people on your team. You're making $80,000 a month.
Yeah.
And growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have the top producing team in the company right now.
How about that?
I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
How about
and
that?
That's a reflection of the leaders.
Let's see if we can keep that.
And I think that one of the things that I wish I could remember who said it to me, but do you want to lead leaders or do you want to lead followers? And I was like, oh no, I want to lead leaders. And so really just being very intentional about developing leaders.
How do you do that?
Working with them, building their confidence and letting them spread their wings and encouraging them, matching me. Like if I'm doing an opportunity presentation, you're also doing one. If I'm doing this, then you're doing it too. And just because people will let you do it all.
For sure.
They'll absolutely let you do it all. And that doesn't help them.
Right.
They can put people in front of the information. They'll get a little bit of a check, but if I can get them doing it, they'll get a whole lot of a check.
Right.
And what I want to see are the people underneath me making the $80,000 a month. I want to see them creating that kind of life for themselves. And so
how big of a business can you see?
Oh,
what will your imagination allow you to see?
$1 million in my downline.
Okay. $1 million in your downline. How much a month?
$1 million. I want to work $1 million a month.
$1 million a month.
Yeah.
You can see that.
I can actually see that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what would be different in your life if that happened?
In the ways I can give back.
To who? Oh
gosh. To things that matter to me, like recovery centers and teenage girls. I mean, to choose life and to have options if you do choose life, to help fund other people's adoptions for women that do choose life but don't want to raise them, that can't or don't feel like they could, things like that in big ways make an impact where it impacted me. I mean, I was just fortunate I had a dad who could help me and take care of me if I made, because I chose to have Caleb. So I just would want people that didn't have that same blessing to still be able to have it.
How old is Caleb now?
He's 30.
Wow.
I know, it's so crazy. I have a man, like he's a man.
And what's he doing?
He is living his best life. He loves golf. And so there's a very prestigious golf club in Nashville where all the stars play, and he's a caddy and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. He has 2 girls. So his life is just hilarious because he's raising 2 girls. He has a wonderful wife who she has an incredible career in its own. She works inside of colleges and does stuff. And so they're just doing good. It's wild to me that he's 30 though. Like when he turned 30 last year, I was like, what is happening?
It's a weird world, right?
It is. It's so strange.
Life moves fast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you for spending some time with me today
Thank you for having me.
and just being willing to share your story. Hopefully it inspired some people
I hope
to
so.
to step into the full version of themselves, be authentic,
Yeah.
have the courage to do that. Most
Yeah.
people don't. They hide behind a mask their whole life.
Yeah.
They end up living half a life, feeling bad about themselves, medicating in various different ways,
Yeah.
replacing alcohol with
Something
some
different.
other form of abuse, self-abuse,
Yeah.
and even if it's just psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another side of it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a place where you can go.
Yeah. And you can, and you fit here.
Well, like I said before, for those who are looking to find a place, I would say what they say at the parks: "Welcome home."
Welcome home.
Yeah, this is a
You
good
matter here.
This is a good place for you.
It is.
Yeah, you can grow here.
Yeah.
And you won't be too judged
Mm-mm.
along the way.
No.
You'll be pushed,
Yeah.
but you're not going to be judged.
Yeah.
Thanks again. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So that's my conversation with Tina Joy Carroll. If it makes you want to go to Disney, I don't blame you. Makes me want to take my kids and grandkids to Disney again. More than anything, it makes me hopeful for any of you that are struggling to hopefully use this example to realize that if success can happen for her, success can happen for you. Whether it's weight loss, whether it's overcoming childhood trauma, whether it's reframing your brand, whether it's facing your fears, all these different things and more we discussed here. So I'm sure there's somebody in your life that needs to hear this. And if that exists, please forward this to them. Help us spread the word. I would appreciate it. And this is one that you might want to listen to more than once because there's some really good little gems inside of this conversation. Okay? So until next time, continue to be amazing, and I'll see you soon.